What's up guys, CJ here, and welcome back to another all-new Hybrid Network review, this time for Westworld Season 2, Episode 1, Journey into Night. That's right, Westworld is finally back with shit absolutely hitting the fan, and basically the entire show in a new status quo. We are going to delve into some spoilery territory because this is a recap and a review, so if you want to skip ahead of the recap and get right to the review, which is going to be spoiler-free, you can do so by pausing this video and hitting the link in the description below. It's a timestamp it'll take you to after I've talked about the spoilers. But without further ado, let's dive right in. The premiere is very Bernard heavy and actually starts with one of those conversations between Arnold and Dolores. Arnold tells her that in a dream he saw himself in the middle of a sea and the hosts on a shore far, far away. They had left him behind and the water was rising all around him. He says he's scared of her sometimes, and says that it's because he thinks there's another path she could have taken, basically before the events of last season flash back and he wakes up on a beach 2 weeks later. He's quickly found by Stubbs and the security team, who seem to have no idea that he's a host, before we see Delos isn't messing around and is basically bringing in a, kind of a small army to the park. Hacking into a dead Apache's brain, they find that he was killed by Dolores, who warned him that not all of them deserve to make it to the valley beyond. But the crux of the episode takes place in the past. Dolores and Teddy are tracking down and killing humans in the park, and she's just a full-on revolutionary now. She's hanging people left and right, and it's creating some conflict in Teddy, even though she reassures him that this ends with basically the two of them. That's what she really wants. We then pick up with the Man in Black in the morning after the gala, having survived under a pile of dead bodies, both host and guest alike. He's, of course, loving this. Basically, real stakes, real danger, that's what he's always wanted. He runs into the child host version of Dr. Ford, who tells him that now that he's solved Arnold's maze, he's now playing Ford's game. He has to find the door and make it back out, at which point he promptly shoots the proto-host in the face. May visit Delos HQ after deciding not to go into the real world last season, and meets up with Lee Sizemore, who she lets tag along so he can lead her to her lost child. They quickly link back up with Hector Escatone, who joins their merry band of misfits. But Bernard, like I said, is where the meat of this episode is at. We find out in the past he teamed up with Charlotte Hale after the attack at the gala. She doesn't know he's a host, and he's only putting it together himself, but they're heading for, some shelter at least. They very quickly find a hidden bunker filled with mysterious blank-faced drone hosts that we saw in the trailer. We learn that Delos is keeping track of the memories and DNA of guests that hosts encounter, but to what end we don't know. Either way, extraction of the human guests in the park has to wait until Charlotte sneaks Peter Abernathy and the code hidden within him out of the park. If you remember, that was something that they planned to do last season, but it went wrong when all the hosts were returned to the park by Dr. Ford. Bernard is also in really rough shape. He's facing critical corruption that he temporarily puts off by injecting some host fluid, although he still is kind of seemingly getting his bearings about actually not being human. But the end of the episode sees us return to the present day, with Bernard and the security team finding Ford's body, and Bernard still unable to remember much of what happened. It ends us on a major and confusing cliffhanger. There is a Bengal tiger from one of the other parks dead on the banks of a river, and more than that, a sea has appeared out of nowhere. And all of the hosts are drowned in this water, and Bernard says he killed them all, which we see includes Teddy. So Westworld did return, and if you thought it was going to get any more straightforward, the answer is a definitive nope. I mean, even though last season unraveled a lot of the mysteries that it created, this year has given us many and more. The show's returned to a non-linear narrative structure, basically introducing us to the events of the present day in the beginning with Bernard, and then returning us to the past to fill out the rest of the episode. I'd personally be really interested to see if they follow this framing for the rest of the season, opening and closing with 5 to 10 minutes of present events before diving back into the past. On the more technical side of things, the show remains just incredibly well written and well acted. Ed Harris is fantastic as always in this premiere, as he was last season of course, and both Evan Rachel Wood and Tandy Newton remain incredibly compelling as Dolores and Maeve. But Bernard, played by Jeffrey Wright, man, he's the standout still, and if this is a Bernard heavy season, I am not going to be complaining. The season's also not strayed away from the deep metaphysical themes either. I mean, it definitely seems like one of the major themes this year is going to be artificial life and the singularity. Basically, the hosts, not just as artificial humans, but kind of the next step in life itself. Well, that's very briefly touched on. Another major theme we see more heavily explored is the nature of reality itself. I mean, human characters, they often see the park, the roles, and the hosts themselves as just not real. It's just a game, as one unfortunately soon-to-be-hanged guest calls it as he begs for his life. But to the hosts, the park is everything. It's real, and we see that in Maeve's relationship to her child, her need to find the child, her love for Escatone, Teddy's love for Dolores, and the way Dolores reciprocates that but also talks about humans, kind of describing them eerily like how humans describe hosts. We also got our first major clue at what Delos is really after. We learned last season that the park is more than just a park, and now we know it has something to do with logging guests' DNA. I mean, to what end, though, we just don't know. A few quick cool notes before I leave you guys. The head of operations character, the new guy, notes that there are other parks and says they have search and rescue teams there, which might be our first hint that there are more than just Westworld and Shogun World. And apparently Westworld is located on an island somewhere near China. We see the Chinese military very briefly in the beginning of the episode, and I feel like that's probably going to be a Chekhov's gun waiting, somewhere down the line. Overall, I would absolutely recommend Westworld Season 2, Episode 1, Journey into Night. If you saw the episode, let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. That's going to do it for me here, though. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that like if you like what you saw, subscribe for more great content every single day, and consider turning on your notifications to be alerted every time we upload a new video. For even more content, check out our website at hybridnetworkyt.com, but if you love HN and want to take your support to the next level, consider donating to us on Patreon as we strive to bring you the best content possible. Signing off, this is CJ, and I'll see you next time.